Hello and welcome to another of our walkthrough videos, boat walkthrough videos of boats here at Preston Marina. And today we've got something a little bit different. We have a partially completed, mostly completed I would probably say, refit project on this Kelsall 40 catamaran. Now, I'm not the world's greatest catamaran expert, but I do know Derek Kelsall is a hugely respected designer of catamarans, and sadly I also believe he recently passed away at the end of last year. But this is the Kelsall Tonga 40, just under 40 feet as we've measured it, but for all intents and purposes a 40 footer. Now this, by the way, this is the mast of the boat. The mast here on the right is actually from another boat completely, so try and ignore the wooden mast, but this black aluminium mast is the mast of the Kelsall Tonga. So you've got new running rigging on there, so we'll go and take a closer look. Walking underneath between the hulls. Now, apologies, because of where she's located in this sort of tent, and she's been in this position for quite a few years, roughly 20-ish years actually. I think this refit's been carrying on very much in fits and starts. I cannot get an overall picture of the whole boat, I'm sorry. She's tucked into this this temporary shed, and there's just no way of standing back and getting an overall look. But underneath there we've got the two propellers. One engine drives two propellers independently. So we'll climb up this little staircase now. Got to mind your head when you're coming up here because the beams are quite low. Anyway, perhaps easier to get an impression when we get up on deck as we are now. So we'll come back to the cockpit in a moment, but let's go forward on deck and have a little look at what's a huge space on this foredeck. I risk standing up now, so yeah, there we go. So you can see the anchor there, but just look at I think she's 6 meters, 20 feet in the beam, which probably makes the concept of road transport, certainly road transport of any great distance, probably extremely difficult to say the least, and quite possibly a non-starter. I'm not a boat transport expert by any means, so anybody who's thinking of possibly taking it away from here by road should do their own research and look at road transport options. But let's say we should have a little look under these hatches, because I think under here, yeah, there we go, the sails. I'm not going to take the sails out, but they have been taken out for a insurance survey last year, and I think they were all found to be quite serviceable. So there we go. Let's walk back now, back along the side deck. In fact, no, we came up that deck. Let's go back along the starboard side, because we've been along the port side already. These huge windows at the main saloon going to give you a clue of the sort of views you get from that main saloon. Anyway, back we go. That's the boom down there. All looks nice and tidy. So the boat is dusty, with dust and sawdust, but everything feels sound and clean and tidy. As I say, this is an unfinished refit, that's for sale, not a boat in commission, but I don't think particularly far off being made ready to go. So the main helm area here, underneath we've got these, well, let's say twin, oh there we go, Garmin multifunction displays, GPS plotters, depth finder screens. There we go, a bit stiff because of literally newness, but they are very young. As I say, the wheel steering up there, we've got NASA instruments, probably wind. What's that? That is the duet, so that's speed and a depth finder. Yeah, and that's a clipper wind instrument there. So the engine controls, twin lever, in fact, well, triple lever. Now my guess is that we've got 2 throttles. Well, the engine will, let me think about this now. It's one engine, which we'll look at in a minute, driving those 2 propellers independently. So we'll have 2 gear shifts and 1 throttle will be my guess. So my guess is we've probably got a gear shift in and out of gear for the port and starboard propellers, and then a throttle for the overall revs of the engine. I guess that will be about right. It's not a twin engine installation, it's a single engine, which is behind us here in this hatch here, if I'm right. There we go. Just hold the hatch up and you can have a better look. So that's a Perkins diesel, new pipe work, the wiring. Well, there's a bit of wire lying on top, but to be honest with you, I think it's just left over from the work in progress. Much of this is looking fairly well cared for, and new pipe work, new hydraulics, 4-cylinder Perkins diesel engine. Okay, so let's just have a little look around the cockpit. So we've got this flexi teak non-slip in the cockpit. So looking up the actual depth of the cockpit from the cabin sole, sorry, from the cockpit sole to the cabin roof is about my height, so roughly 6 feet there. And then steps up to the side decks there. Okay, let's go inside and see. So we're in the main, what do they call it on a catamaran? Is it the bridge deck? This is, I suppose, the main social area of the boat, and is the most finished part of this refit internally. As you can see, we've got the new electronics. Also below decks is a nice standard Horizon DSE radio and an Icon, that's an AIS transponder, and then I think we've got another, whether it's yeah, we've got another multifunction display of some description there. And then coming back, we've got this rather nice power management area, Sterling charger, power pack, and then the circuit breaker panel and battery monitor panel. 13.7 volts coming in off the shore power. So that's a rather neat installation. And as I say, the level of fit out is basic but functional and comfortable. That's the nav wiring, the NMEA interface from the cockpit instruments. Just a general locker there. Okay, so now spinning around. So those are the large windows that we saw on the foredeck. So we're now standing in the bridge deck, the saloon, facing forward. So we'll head down into the starboard hull first. So down a couple of steps into the starboard hull, and this is where most of the interior work is still needed. So this little area, I don't know, this will probably be whatever. There's a bench there now, but well, it's just sort of little hallway access way. Now I think when we enter the compartments, hopefully the lights will turn themselves on. There we go. So we're going forward, so you can see there the prow of the starboard hull. So this area, unfinished, is really whatever you want it to be. At the moment there's just some temporary shelves in here, but I guess this could be turned into a sleeping area or a heads or whatever you're wanting. Moving aft on this starboard hull, again, hopefully the lights will come on in a moment. Hello. Well, perhaps the lights aren't going to come on in this section. Down here we can see that's part of the hydraulic drive to the starboard propeller, and the stern gland is in there. Let me see if I can get some lights on. Couldn't get the lights on in this starboard aft part of the catamaran, so I'm going to switch to a bit of phone cam lighting. Not very good, I'm sorry to say, but that's the stern gear of the starboard propeller drive, not engine, it's just one engine. Now this aftermost compartment at the stern is probably intended as a sleeping area. I imagine this raised part could become a bunk. In here, I mean, easily standing headroom. I mean, I'm just around 6 feet, and there's a couple of inches clearance for my height. Hang on, there we go, a bit of light, brilliant. So yeah, there's over 6 feet worth of headroom here, and I guess the the width of this cabin is a good two and a bit meters, and this, my guess is, the idea is ultimately going to be a bed. We have some tankage here, which is, by the look of it, a diesel tank. So you can see the engine through there. So looking forward now, so we're now standing at the very stern of the starboard hull. So that's where we are. Let's move forward and go and look at the port side hull now. So back into the bridge deck, down across and down the steps into the port hull. There we go, the lights have come on automatically on this side. So again, this little entrance hall area, call it what you will. Now aft of the entrance area to the port hull at the moment is a very basic galley. I mean, far from finished. I mean, literally just a working fit out galley. So this could be a space where a galley would be properly installed. And then at the very stern again, we have another space similar to on the starboard side, where my guess is the intention is this being one of the main sleeping areas on the boat. So yeah, I mean, you can see that this could be a good size double cabin, another fuel tank down there to balance out the one on the other side of the boat. So it's very unfinished, but there we go, that's the port stern sleeping cabin. So going forward now, again, this is the sort of little entrance area on the port hull. Moving forward on the port hull, well, let's see if I can go in and get in. Will the lights come on? Yes, there we go. So we're now in the port forward of the companionway, access way, and again, temporary shelving and sort of temporary fridges are in place. And then turning around, this is the very forward prow of the boat. I can see down there some seacock, so my guess is the intention is this is where a toilet would be plumbed in. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that would be. So again, now moving back aft on the port hull, and we'll go back up into the main bridge deck, and there we have it. So this is the Kelsall Tonga 40 refit project, which is here at Preston Marina. More details on our website, prestonmarina.co.uk. But I hope this little video has been helpful, and if you're interested, please get in touch.